So, Michael O'Neill. Please come
What's up, y'all? What a good looking room.
Happy birthday, Daddy.
Yeah, old man's back there somewhere.
Is he somewhere back here?
Daddy's birthday. My name's Michael O'Neill. I'm a songwriter around Blossom, Paris, Texas. I like writing songs about as much as anybody I know. And when I write a song, I feel real good, like the best feeling in the world. And as each day passes, and I haven't written another song, that good feeling gets a little bit less, if you know what I mean. And I was in the throes of those feelings one day, and I was sitting on my couch in the living room looking at these pictures hanging on the wall. 5x7s. I got one of my old man stretched out with a cue stick and a hot dog hanging from his mouth. And I got one when my granddaddy came back home. My granddaddy, he was a big man, like 6'4". And my grandmother was a real little lady, and his jacket was swallowing her up. This song called 5x7. There's a 5x7 in my living room, and it's a picture of my granny holding hands with the broom. Shortly after World War II. Yeah, my granddaddy, he's so handsome and tall. He got to back up against those bare walls. He looks so sharp in those dress greens. And Granny got his jacket on, swallows her up. Oh yeah. Well, there's a skinny hippie stretched out with a cue stick. He got a hot dog hanging off his lips. He got a fifth of Evan Williams kinda over on the side. And I'm guessing 1973, he looked just like somebody that you might see in the night, driving the van for me. And that's my old man, when he was a young man. Rock and roll. Yeah, one, a mama on the front porch swing, prettiest thing I've ever seen. I bet she ain't a day past 15. And I often wonder why she's smiling like she is. Did my daddy lean in to sneak a kiss, or is her favorite song on the radio? Yeah, I come from a couple of kids in love. Oh yeah. Yeah, my favorite picture, Stephanie Renee, was taken in the summer of 1998. She kinda had it squanched down, like her head in the frame. Then a couple years later, the shit hit the fan. The picture I'm talking about got yanked up off the stand, torn cone completely in two. I put it back together with some Scotch tape. You can't hide nothing. Scotch tape. Love. Another 5x7s in my living room. When I was about 19 years old, my old man was a little worried about me because I done had about 19 different jobs. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do, you hear me? And then I landed this job at a welding shop back home. I worked 22 years. And then everything went south again, and I got this new job at the post office carrying mail. And I remember my first day on the job, we were standing around the time clock, and everybody's talking about how many steps they walked the day before. And that was new to me. I didn't know nothing about it. I was 45 years old, my back was hurting, and I was starting over. And I wrote this song called Count My Steps. I used to be younger, but I'm older now. All my friends, hell, they're getting older too. The road I'm traveling, they ain't got no shoulders. That's a shame. I could use a shoulder sometimes. Just make it through. Looks like my 40s might be heading for a wash. My back hurts me nowadays pretty much non-stop. How can a man work as many days in a row as I done work? Still have nothing but some more of that work left to go. Sun it rises and then it sets, and I keep moving, but I started counting all my steps. Days are quick, the shadows are long, and you ain't lost if you can always find your way back home. I used to be quicker than I am now, on my feet and in between my ears. I used to be scared of things, and now I'm not. Nowadays, a whole different kind of fear. And I still sit still and listen to sad, slow songs. It's always been one of them things, man. It's always helped me carry on. And I've been told that I got an old soul. I was told that a long time ago. Sun it rises and then it sets, and I keep moving, but I start counting all my steps. The days are quick, the shadows are long, and you ain't lost if you can always find your way back home. I used to be younger, I'm older now. All my friends, hey, they get older too. Hey, do 63, that's the route when you go around the square right there in Paris. And I was new on the job. I was trying real hard to do my best. I had about 7 inches of nail in my left hand. I had all them flats laying on my forearm. And I was walking around the square. And 21 South Plaza is an antique store on the square in Paris. And one of my best friends used to peddle old Western goods in there. And he had passed away. And I knew that because I was a pallbearer. But for some reason, this particular day, it was a beautiful day. I was so wrapped up in my job, and I walked through that store, and all my senses took over, my smell and my sight and my hear, and I forgot old Boach was dead. And when I walked in that building, I looked for his old ass, and then it dawned on me, he was gone. And I wrote this song, it's called 21 South Plaza. I smell leather, and I smell dirt, and I see some boots that used to work, and white hats, western belts, cowboy spurs. Well, the floor still squeaks, and the ceiling's tall, and it looks like junk. Stack 'em wall to wall. But it was home to you. You be shining some shoes. You be having a ball. And that's a 21 Plaza. It's on the south side. Well, it hit me hard, old buddy, when I walked inside. I started looking for you. I wanted to see you when I walked inside. Back out on the street in the warm sunshine, just taps on my feet, keeping the time with the beats in my heart and an old friend in the thoughts of my mind. Ain't it funny how smell, ain't it funny how sound can make an old friend so easily found. And even though they're gone, I don't feel like I'm alone when I'm walking around. And that's a 21 Plaza, it's on the south side. Well, it hit me hard, old buddy, when I walked inside. I started looking for you. I wanted to see you when I walked inside. Kevin, I forgot to look at that clock when I walked out here.
You're good. You got about 2 minutes.
Right on me.
2 songs.
So, this one time, I remember my old buddy, the first kid I ever knew whose daddy went to prison. I thought I wrote this song right here called Cubs Win. And I got a boy who's 20, but when he was growing up, I coached him in baseball, his baseball team every year. And so I had a 5-gallon bucket with about 30 baseballs in it. I throw batting practice to about 12 little shit asses every day. And my arms killing me, man. I remember I get home, I couldn't hardly take my shirt off, my shoulder just wore out. But let me tell you what really caused it. When I was about 12 years old, me and my buddy played one-on-one baseball. And we'd throw 9 innings. We'd eat 2 popsicles and we'd throw 9 more innings. And this song is about him. And he's the first person I ever knew whose daddy was in prison. And after I wrote this song, I thought it was about me, and I thought it was about Harry Carey, and I thought it was about baseball and shit like that. But it's really about my daddy being there for me when I was a kid, and his daddy not being there for him because we were the same. Me and that boy, I could have went down his road easy. Called Cubs win. Mr. Bennett baked a cherry pie, and Mr. Bennett kept a house as cold as ice. It's what I can remember from the summer of 1989. And I was always a Chicago Cubs, and home plate was just in front of the shrubs. And Chad moved in with grandparents, and we killed the grass in the baseline, yeah. Well, I bet I pitched 1,000 games through the burning sun and the sprinkling rain. It was June, July, and August. In the summer I was 12 years old. Chad was always the New York Yankees, same age as me. Boy was long and lanky and scrappy and tough as nails. And his dad was in the pen. I said, Cubs win. Cubs win. I rode off on my bike. I shot back with a grin. I said, Cubs got you, Chad. I'll be back tomorrow, man. And y'all can try again, yeah. Mr. Bennett shed a lazy eye. Mr. Bennett, his first name was Clyde. He boxed in the garage. He stayed in that room till the day that he died. Now I can't even pull my shirt over my head. My shoulder's shot and my arm is dead, but I'll still throw a baseball at a boy like I did in 1989. You know, I hung out with Chad for a couple of more summers. Him and his mama moved to Dallas. I lost track of him. I read his name in the paper today. They said he's going to the pen. I said, Cubs win. Cubs win. I rode off on my bike. I shot back with a grin. I said, Cubs got you, Chad. I'll be back tomorrow. Try again, yeah. Hey y'all, my name's Michael O'Neal, and I'm honored to get to play y'all some songs. I'm gonna do one more. I got a new record coming out. I got 9 records. I got my next one's coming out in 1 month. And tonight's my old man's birthday. He's 70. He back down. I love that old man. I'd be lost without him. And this song is gonna be the first track on the new record. It's called Gone. And I thought I wrote it about my old man, but I really didn't. I wrote it after I was done, and looking back, it's just about time going and shit. I got a 20-year-old son. I see him in the kitchen like twice a week. He'll pass me, you know, with a chicken strip hanging out of his mouth. I've been a great crowd. Thank you very much. It's called Gone. I sure miss my old man. I miss him when he was a young man, and I was just a goofy kid, and I thought he was an old man. stood out in his shop, he worked steady just like a ticking clock, and I was up and down, off the floor, running in and out of the door until I heard a rainbow stoop or the hag sing my fail riding memory of you. And I got hold of them, I started running with my friends, and me and Dad, we were bumping heads. I could not hear them words he said, and he knew that I was running fast, and he knew that it wouldn't last. Same old tricks he'd seen before. Hell, he wasn't even keeping score. He told Mama, he said, just let him run. I heard him. He said, just let him run until he's done. I got one of my own with no sense of how time's gone, and it kinda makes me sad. I stop and think about my dad and how it ain't the same as it was back when we played the game. And I'll sit still and stare and think of time, and I wonder where it's gone. It was just here, man, and now it's gone. Yeah, well, I sure miss my old man. I miss him when he was a young man. I was just a goofy kid, and I thought he was an old man back then. He stood out in that shop, he worked steady just like a ticking clock, and I was